Well, good evening and welcome to Manuscript Monday. Happy New Year. This is our holiday leftovers Manuscript Monday. We're going to chat about what's happened the past year, what's coming up in the new year. We're going to toast to 75 years of the Manuscript Society. I see we have our current president and some past president with us tonight, and a lot of folks. We're going to open it up too. We're going to turn your mics on if you like, and if you have a story to share, let us know what you've been up to, what's going on. If you have some stories about the Manuscript Society you'd like to share, we're going to do all that tonight. It's going to be really informal, and we're going to have ourselves a fine time tonight. Looks like we have a smaller crowd tonight. We had about 20 folks signed up. We're usually close to 100 signups, but it is the day after New Year's, and some people are still trying to get back in action here too. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you can join us. If you have tech questions, just check the chat box. I put something in there. You can text my cell at 908-256-6119. Check that text box and I'll see if I can walk you through it. Won't be able to chat with you or speak with you because I'll be speaking here and running this little webinar. So on behalf of the Manuscript Society, the 75th anniversary, thanks for joining us tonight. So here we go. Let's see what's happening. All right, that's a picture of me when I was 2. It's really a birthday party. It wasn't a New Year's party, but that's as close as I could get. So there you go. So here's what's going to happen tonight. Let me tell you a little bit about what's going on. We're sponsored by the Manuscript Society, an organization that, if you can see by our logo, it's been around for about 75 years. We've been doing these every first Monday of the month for probably a year and a half now. We do it as a webinar, as a Zoom webinar, because it's an easy way to reach more people rather than trying to get everybody into one room or have regional meetings. It's a chance for all of us to get together. We've had hundreds of people on some of our Zoom presentations, and we have had speakers from all over the world that have joined us. And tonight, we're just going to have a little fun with our little end of the year or beginning of the new year get together. Why now? Why not? We do it the first Monday of every month, unless it's on a holiday like Labor Day or Memorial Day. And we usually make that the following Tuesday. So we'll call it Manuscript Monday on a Tuesday. Who is invited? We invite people from a lot of variety of groups. If you have a group that you belong to that might be interested in some of the subjects that we're talking about or want to learn about something new, please reach out to them. When I send you an invitation, if you get an invitation that either comes from Shirley, our Shirley Sands, our executive director, or through me or other things. We've invited folks from the three major appraisal organizations, actually 4 major appraisal organizations: the Society of American Archivists, Manuscript Society members, and anybody that you've invited along too. So feel free to do that and spread that out. I'll tell you what we're going to cover in just a little bit, and I'm also going to tell you what we can, how you can get more information on the Manuscript Society and some of the events and things that are coming up. So with that, let's move on to what we're going to cover tonight. It's the beginning of 2023, so we're having a virtual gathering of friends and colleagues. The camera's running. It is being recorded because we record these webinars and we put them up on the Manuscript Society site. But you're all muted now, and if you ask to be unmuted, I can do that. Or if you'd like to be unmuted, you don't want to be unmuted, don't worry about it too. You want to share a short collecting story, you want to share a discovery, you want to share a new book that you've put out or published, you want to discuss what's new for 2023 at the Manuscript Society, I'll cover some of that. Are you looking for a specific item? You have an item to offer? Let us know, or you can just hang out and we'll just have a little toast to 2023 and 75 years of the Manuscript Society. So first, a toast to 75 years. So if you're out there, grab your glass. Here's to the Manuscript Society. We've been around a long time, and hopefully we'll be around a lot longer. And thanks to all the folks on our trustees, past and present, those who are active in our society and keeping things going, and that's just great. We're going to talk about what's new. We're going to take a peek at the website. A lot of people don't visit our website. There's a lot of stuff there. We're going to look at the past year. We're going to open it up to our gathering, and then we'll wrap it up and we'll get you out of here within an hour. 8 o'clock on the East Coast. We'll be done by 9 o'clock. First thing I want to tell you about is our new logo, and it expresses our 75th anniversary that we have. We've been out, like I said, we've been around a long time preserving manuscripts and sharing manuscript history. We have a long history of presidents and experts that have been involved with our organization, and hopefully we'll continue to go and keep it going. What's coming up next? California, our Los Angeles meetings in California. It happens in May, and we hope you're going to join us. Go to the website, manuscript.org. You'll find out all about it. We have a lot of great tours. And one of the best things about the Manuscript Society is the opportunity to to get behind the scenes where it says staff only, employees only, cast members only. We get to go behind those doors and see some amazing things. There's a lot going on in LA this year. And so hopefully you'll come to California, or if you're in California, you'll join us in your home state to see what's going on there. We have a lot of things planned. Go there and check that out. In the fall, we're going to Rome. We'll be roaming in Rome, and that's our international tour. That's coming up. Now, the deadline for that is February 14th or early February. Check the website. We're going to visit many of the libraries of Rome. Again, backstage passes. The tour company that puts this together is just incredible. Make sure you look at those. So that's enough of a little bit of a commercial. Let's see what else is going on with the Manuscript Society. Some things we've done the past year. We had a great meeting in Williamsburg. Again, we got to see a lot of things that most people don't see. The news and the blogs continue to grow. Our journal and the digest roll on. There's a lot of information too. Ms. Adolphson is our 2022 Moss Grant Research winner, and she did a study that we gave the grant to is Healthcare in the Black Metropolis, A History of Providence Hospital from 1891 to 1960. If you're a candidate or like to be a candidate for the Moss Grant application, scholars who attend a particular institution with memberships in the Manuscript Society as of yesterday, you can receive consideration for the grant. Deadline for that is February 14th. So make sure you get on the website and take a look. It's a $5,000 grant, and we have a team of experts that reviews your resumes, your applications to find out where we want to do that. And that money goes directly to you for your project. It's not one of those deals that goes through the college and stays in the college and then they deduct it from your tuition or your grants or this and that. It's put together really well. It's been around a long time. And at the Manuscript Society, we're really proud of doing that. So take a look at that. Again, that's some things that are coming up in the future as well. Manuscript Mondays is where we are right now, but I want to let you know about some of the things we've done in the past, and I'll tell you about things that are coming up. Last month, we had Spanish New Orleans in the Caribbean, and Alfred Lemon did an incredible job of that. We had a whole program on Declaration of Independence, all the different versions, some of the fakes, some of the copies, some are valuable, some are not. Some of the original writings, that was a while back. Again, that's available on the website. The Tile Club, Dr. Stuart Embry did a great presentation just 2 months ago about the Tile Club and a bunch of artists that got together to paint tiles. The Harding Love Letters was another interesting, exciting webinar about what happened with the love letters, how they got to be published. I did one on what's it worth, how appraisers determine value, and we used a variety of examples so that you could go out and figure out what that's all about. What's it worth? Dead letter office. We did one on silver. We did one on etiquette, museum etiquette, autographs, phonies, fakes, and forgeries. We did lifestyles of a collection and people who build them. And we did a behind the scenes look at writing. Al Ottens wrote a great book, and he was talked a little bit about that. So those are all available on the Manuscript Society website, and you can find them anytime. They're recorded, they're archived. You don't have to be a member. You just go there and click on Manuscript Monday, and you can watch any of those. Again, all of them are under an hour or almost under an hour. So with that, let's go. We got a dozen or so people on. I wanted to see, let me just go to this and see who's here. So I'm going to see if anybody has an interest in speaking or wants to share something. Just raise your hand. There's a little hand raising spot there where you can do that. And I'm going to ask Ellen, I'm going to ask if I could unmute you. I'm going to see if you want to talk and just want to welcome everybody and say hello. I hope that's okay. I have you on talking permitted, and I don't know if your mic's working or not. I'll give you a minute to kind of figure that out. and if not, I'm going to move over to Jim.
Thank you, Brian.
There you go. Hi, Ellen. Jim, hang in there. I'll get to you just a second. Ellen Myers, our president of the Manuscript Society. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
It is thrilling, and I love our new logo. I can't wait for us to be celebrating this whole year, 75 years. This is no new group, and it continues to evolve as we look at really old things as well as current ones. So I'm hoping everybody's in for a good year with the Manuscript Society. And if you haven't sent in your dues yet, they're 2 days late, so get on it, because Shirley Sands will be coming after you.
Shirley will come get you. That's for sure. Any thoughts about the conference coming up in California?
Oh, it's going to be wonderful. You're not going to want to miss it. I mean, after 2 years down with COVID and Williamsburg being so grand, how could we not want to get together in Los Angeles? It's a great spot. And the behind the scenes, the staff only and going right through those doors, we're going to be right there.
That sounds
right
great.
there.
Very good. Thank you, Ellen. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to mute you and I'm going to go over to Jim. You're all set to, let me try this again. Where'd you go? All right. I'm going to ask you to unmute Jim and you have the floor.
Hey, Brian. Happy New Year to everybody. Good to
How are
be
you,
here.
sir? Good to see you, or good to hear you.
Well, nice to hear you. Looking forward to seeing everybody in Los Angeles in the spring. But I got a question. I'm wondering if we, just for long-term planning purposes, has the society thought about where we're going in 2024? We're just curious.
Well, that's a good question. Ellen, I don't know if you can spill the beans on this. I'm going to unmute you again. Ellen, ask you to unmute. Let me see if I can get you off there. There you go.
Tell me which Jim we have.
Jim Goldman.
Good. Oh, I didn't recognize you, Jim Goldman. I'm so glad you asked, because we're going to be right here in San Antonio, Texas. And we are dying to get to see everybody. And of course, San Antonio is gorgeous. It has changed a lot in the last 10 years, but it's gotten even better. And we're looking forward to having all of you here in 2024, and especially you, Jim Goldman.
So
All right.
remember,
Well, thank you.
So you got to remember the Alamo, Jim, so we can get to San Antonio.
I won't forget. I'll be there.
There you go. So what have you been up to? Anything to share? You're collecting interests, or what do you hear in the world of manuscripts?
Well, Brian, the closest thing I have to news or to something relevant is that, we're all supposed to make New Year's resolutions. Okay, so some of them come and some go. But this year, I said, okay, I'm gonna actually sit down this winter and work on the darn catalog, figure out what the heck I've got that I've bought over the years. I have lost track of it all. I'm sure other collectors run into this problem. And at some point in your life, you go, what the heck did I buy? Where is it? What is it?
And how are you doing that? Are you using a particular program? Are you using a spreadsheet? How are you creating your catalog?
I haven't gotten that far, and that's a good topic for a Manuscript Monday. But
that's a great idea. Yep.
I think the first thing I'm going to do is take over the dining room table, whether my wife likes that or not, and just spread everything out and see what's in all those boxes. I'm at that point.
That's great. And you can always bring in an archivist. There are a Society of American Archivists people that are on here tonight. There's actually 6,000 members of those. You can actually search if you want help, and they will help you either create the database or identify how you want to categorize things. But I think the best thing to do, I would agree with you, is just spread them out on the table somewhere, take over the house, and figure out roughly what you have. Then you can decide how to categorize it, certainly by name or by author or by category or by subject. And you can, and with a spreadsheet or any kind of relational database, you can obviously create all kinds of things. But it sounds like that's going to be quite a project.
Yeah, I hope the weather turns bad, because if it continues to be nice and warm here in Pennsylvania, that's not going to happen.
That's right. And where in Pennsylvania are you again, Jim?
In the Philadelphia suburbs, west of Philadelphia, a place called Delaware County. So we're in between Philadelphia and Delaware.
Yep, we know it well. It's coming, by the way. More weather's coming. That's great. Well, that sounds exciting. That would be really good, and a good thing to keep on. I have a project. I have 6 file boxes of just photocopies of facsimiles that I've collected over the years through the appraisal business and when I was a full-time dealer. And my spare time project, with the help of an archivist, is to scan all of them and create a database of kind of exemplars so that we can share. I'm going to put them up on the web so everybody can have them. Anybody can look at them to identify, fakes from forgeries and auto pens and machine signed signatures and things along those lines. So I'll let you know how mine's going if you keep me in touch with how you're doing on yours.
All right. Sounds good.
Good deal. Thanks, Jim. I'm going to mute you up there for a second. And let me mute you there for a second. I'm looking for more hands. I don't see any hands, but I'm going to ask oh, there we go. Mark, you're all set. I got you. I'm going to ask you to unmute. I think I got you, Mark. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can, sir. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate the Manuscript Mondays. I have a question, more of an interest. I collect letters of scientists, primarily chemists. And one of the things I wanted to learn more about was how to research watermarks, for authentication purposes. And I understand there's a lot of or not a lot, but a few online databases. And I was curious if anybody has any experience in watermarks, and it especially came to light, if I recall. I think there was a Galileo letter that was found to be a forgery. I think it was at the University of Michigan.
Right,
and
right. Yep.
And the way they found it was the watermark didn't match.
Okay, good. You know what? I'm going to reach over here and find a couple of references I have here. And I don't know how far you go back with your scientists. And I'm going to escape out of this this presentation just for a second so that I can see what I look like. I'm going to hold these up to the camera and see if you can see. Actually, let me show you the title page. And these are really great references. They're no longer in print. I'm going to see if you guys can see that. It says a catalog of foreign watermarks found on paper used in America between 1700 and 1835. And Gravel and Miller are the authors. And that's one volume. It's a really, really great, reference. Here's the other one that I have that I use a lot. And then we'll see if anybody else has. This is a catalog of American watermarks from 1690 to 1835. Again, Gravel and Miller. And then there's a later version where a later edition where they've combined both old and new into a newer version. And this is a little more extensive. Again. And these are out of print. Both of these guys are no longer around. I don't know about the online databases where you'll find them, but they're the ones that I use frequently, again, for authentication and identification to see years and things like that. And you're right. If the watermark's not right, something, then the rest can't be. But let me look and see where the rest of my crew is and see if I got anybody that has a hand that might be able to share. Roger, I'm going to unmute you and hoping that you're going to share something with Mark on this, and if not, we'll get to you in just a little bit. All right, you're on, Mark. You're unmuted.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, not Mark. Who just
Roger.
I'm sorry, Roger.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Roger. Anything about watermarks, or you got another topic for us?
No, watermarks is a key interest of mine at this point. I didn't even know that they existed for the most part, except for in colonial currency, which I collect. And it was used as an anti-counterfeiting device in 1779. There was a guy, one of the Declaration of Independence signers. But in any case, based upon my correspondence with you last month, about watermarks, I have bought both of those two books and finding them really enjoyable reads.
Good.
They're fantastic as far as trying to determine what watermarks you have. In regard to the previous caller saying how he would orient and categorize his various manuscripts he's gotten, what I do is I do a Word document for each, a Word paper for each document that I have, where I list what it is, a translation of what's in it, when I can get it. And I'm still trying to find a good French translator that will be able to do 1700s handwritten translations. I followed up on your archive people and nobody responded. So
okay.
I don't think they're interested. But the value of having a Word document is that you can put down the price. All of us are aging. All of us are going to have our manuscripts go to an estate, and you need to have some kind of a basis. If you do decide to sell before you pass, you need to have a basis on which you bought it for. So keeping documentation of that kind of basis in that Word document, you just basically print out and then copy and put into a JPEG right into that Word document. So it keeps a record of how much you paid for it, when you got it, who you got it from, and also a picture of the actual document should for it get lost or misplaced or stolen. And so that's what I would suggest for the gentleman who's trying to categorize his various documents. It is time consuming. It takes a whole lot of time to do it for each document, and that's the drawback of buying more documents. Is you're going to spend a couple hours getting this thing all together.
Right, but you can't. So how do you? Because I just work with a spreadsheet, which can tie in an Excel spreadsheet can tie in with a huge number of the other actual archival pieces of software where they match together and they work together. So how do you, you can just have one title for that Word document, right? And
Right.
so you can't cross-reference or really search for by date or search by price or search by content or search by date, correct?
I do it by date.
Okay.
The title of each Word document is based, the first part of it is the date. So it'll be the month, the day, if I have it. Some of them don't have days, and the year. And in some cases, like I have a document that dates to the early 1600s that doesn't have a date on it, but it's been written by two governors that were governors of the state at that time, and the content of the document is such that I can give a relative date to it.
I see.
So I categorize it by date first, and then a description of what's in it. Just for a quick example is a 1779 document I have outlining the request from Gorham, Massachusetts freeholders asking for a huge increase in the soldiers' prices during the Revolutionary War because of the massive depreciation. At that time, one continental dollar, one eight real, which was the equivalent, the Mexican equivalent, a real silver dollar, had American continental dollars had depreciated to the point that 1,000 of them were equal to one solid silver 8 real.
Wow.
So with that depreciation, the soldiers that were being paid just were not getting the money that they needed in order to be able to even live. Whiskey became a purpose, one of the things that was being used, because it held a value of a gallon of whiskey was equal to a shilling. And so therefore, a lot of the whiskey was being used as barter for not only barter, but for drinking by the soldiers. So, but anyway, I don't want to take up everybody's time. So just to let you know, those two books are books you want to get, and I have gotten them. Taking photographs. It actually outlines how to get images of watermarks in the books, but even then,
here's some of the there's an example of you can see
yeah,
of the watermarks, and then you can sort in the back if you can figure out. They're usually in some semblance of order based upon a letter or something that works, and then they have all the information about the paper makers. I don't know if you can see that, and what their watermarks look like and how they changed over the years. Yep. Keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you short.
No, I wanted somebody else to have a chance to talk. I don't want to monopolize this, but I'll tell you the watermarks. The thing about having the Word document is that now I've taken pictures of all the watermarks, and there's a particular
no kidding.
way there's a way that you can do it by, I use a glass, piece of glass that's elevated, a light under the glass, and I photograph, the light shines through and reveals the watermark, and then you photograph the watermark. And
Right.
I have a whole set. I have a set of all of mine here that
Great.
And so now it's a matter of going through the books and identifying.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah,
You call
I
it an interesting read. I never would categorize it as interesting, but it's a great reference.
Yeah, they are good references.
Good deal. Yeah, I have an old, basically I use an old overhead projector for people who know what those were. And I take
Yeah.
out the arm on top, and it basically is just a light table. And I have a piece of white frosted plastic so I can see the watermarks fairly clearly. And I have something above them to photograph them. So that's a good way to do it too. That's great. Thanks for the tip.
Yep.
Good deal. All right,
Happy New Year.
Yeah, and to you as well. Roger's here, Ellen's still on, Mark, Jim's still with us. He just went off there too. Christian, I think we cut you short last time. I think you got upstaged by somebody in Scotland, as I recall. I'm gonna unmute you here and see if you have anything to share with us. If you're in the mood to do that, I'm gonna send you the S to unmute and see if that works. There you go. Anything to share, my friend?
Hang on a second.
Okay, I hear you.
Okay. One thing about cataloging, I always try to keep in mind that the person distributing my collection is not necessarily going to be as knowledgeable as we are about
Point. Yeah.
prices, about where to sell, where to, So when I catalog my letters and documents, I try to keep it non-technical.
Sure, that's a good point.
So they can use that. My daughter, one of my daughters, is kind of in charge of all that. She knows, and every year I send her a new spreadsheet of what's new and what's not.
Sure.
What's
I see.
Not in the collection anymore. But I try to keep it in layman's language, and I not only tell her what I paid for each item, but I tell her what my estimated value is.
Oh, that's great. That's a good tip. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
that's good. And I don't know if you, a lot of folks will keep the original catalog descriptions with them, or the dealer that they purchased from, if there's any questions or concerns about provenance or clear title and things along those lines. I don't know how many calls I got years later when I was a full-time manuscript dealer, and people said, I found your business card in my dad's stuff or in my mom's stuff or my uncle's stuff. So so having that information might be helpful, although a lot of the dealers aren't dealers anymore, and a lot of the dealers aren't around anymore, but that's great. But we're still kicking, and you're going to be around a long time, Christian. Anything? Did you have something else to share? The last time I think you were on and you had to leave early because we gave the floor to some guy in Scotland. I think that was you. Was our summer beach party, and you had your hand up, and I missed you. And I think you sent me a note that said, "Boy, I wish we had more time." So, anything else to share about what you're collecting and what you're doing?
I'm currently working on a new article for Manuscript, but
I always enjoy them. They're really cool.
Yeah, it's coming along.
Is it a secret? Can you tell us the topic?
I can.
But then you'd have to kill us. So
I have a letter or document signed by Queen Elizabeth I.
Oh, no kidding. Oh.
And in the margin, there is a note that kind of summarizes what the document is. And I think it's in her handwriting.
Oh, nice. But, that's fascinating.
I've been kind of making myself a handwriting expert and writing to archives to try to figure out, okay, who else would have written on this document? So it's kind of interesting. I'm currently working with an analytical laboratory. They're doing a few tests on it, not anything destructive, obviously.
Right. Understood. Oh, but, great.
Just trying to determine if the ink in her signature matches the ink characteristics in this
in the context of the letter. Wow, that's so cool.
Well,
that sounds great.
Of the letter is written by a scribe.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. The note is not in the same handwriting.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting.
That's very good. That sounds great. We look forward to that. And I always enjoy your articles. That's too.
Well,
that's great. Good. Thanks so much. Yes. Hey, Pat Vaccaro, I see you have your hand up. So I'm unmuting you here. I'm asking you to unmute. And I think, let's see if we got you. Hey, I got you. You're good.
There we go.
All right.
Just wanted to note that I believe at May's Manuscript Monday, Spencer Stewart has some tips on cataloging.
Yeah, that was a text from you sent to me. Okay, I figured that was from you. Okay, yeah, and that was our May speaker. He's from Canada, and he was the one who did collections and the collectors who collect them, and there was something about cataloging. Thanks, Pat. That's great. Hey, so tell us what you're up to with the Manuscript Society, or outside of your Manuscript Society work. Still there?
Sorry?
I said, tell us what you've been up to with the Manuscript Society and what's going on.
We just sent the first issue of the Manuscript Society News for 2023 off to press.
Excellent.
So look for that coming to your inbox anytime soon.
And tell us a little about what's in the news and how you compile that news so that people know how they can either contribute or give you a lead on a story, or why we would want to be members to be able to get your manuscript news.
Well, and I am taking notes this evening and hoping that everyone will send me their great thoughts and stories. We're always collecting stories. We're 75 years in the Manuscript Society, and you know, your history is our history. And
Right.
So we want to hear your stories about how you came to be part of the Manuscript Society and what you're collecting and what's new. And there are all kinds of departments we have, from member news through first and favorites. So what's your favorite, what's the favorite manuscript you've ever handled? What's the first one you ever had? Just all kinds of opportunities to share with our community through the pages of the news.
Terrific. And you also share news of the world, what's going on in the manuscript world outside of our members as well. We'll find a lot of great information in the news as well, correct?
And we are sharing a good bit now on Replevin issues.
Mm-hmm.
So there always seems to be something turning up in the news about documents that have strangely strayed from wherever it was they were meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
And not only in the news, but in the Manuscript Society Digest, where we can of course track clicks on that to see which stories really attracted the most interest. And I find that any story about theft always seems to attract a great deal.
Sure. Scandals always make it.
That's right.
Yep, that's right. That's good. Good deal. Well, you certainly enjoy your publication, and thanks. And I know you keep us up to date with posts and tweets and all kinds of other things. It keeps us going. So we appreciate what you do. How's life out in your neck of the woods? Getting cold and snowy yet?
We've had cold and snowy, and it's all better now.
I know. That's
Until
right.
the next time.
Yeah, I think you got something coming your way, and we got something coming our way too, out on the East Coast too, but it all works out. Well, that's great. Good deal. All right. Mark, did you just raise your hand again? I think Mark's got his hand up again. So let's see. Mark, did you have something else?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was interested. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name of the speaker who mentioned that he was going to do some as I'm a chemist, I collect chemistry autographs. I was wondering if he could expand a little bit on the type of tests, or if not, could he put that into the article? Because that's really interesting.
All right, Christian, I think you are unmuted. Go ahead, share what you got there.
The test so far has just been ultraviolet photography to see if the signature and the marginal note fluoresce to the same color, and they do, which is a plus, but it doesn't prove anything quite yet. The problem is, you don't want to put a pinhole in a 450-year-old document.
And start scraping ink off the surface is not a good idea.
Exactly, not wise. So
I don't know if
we may just leave it at that, but he's got one other test in mind, which should be able to show us the chemical characteristics of the inks.
Right. There are things called electron microprobes. I believe you could put the document under this thing. It can analyze almost a microscopic dot of the ink without destroying it.
The problem is that you need a large bed for that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
and it's a folio-sized document. So
And a
No.
big wallet. Do you need a big wallet too? Is that an expensive test?
That's for sure.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. I may submit the article fairly soon, so
That's great.
we shall see.
Good. That's great because
Great.
I know you can use there's shortwave and long wave UV light, and you can actually vary the spectrum, and then you can see what the reflective index is, not the refractive index.
Yes.
And that's it too. I'm an old chemical engineer, but didn't use much of that stuff too. It does come in handy once in a while. But I made plenty of mistakes on buying stuff that wasn't any good over the years. Haven't we all? That's good. Good. So I'm just thank you, folks. Anybody else want to raise a hand, share a thought along the way? Mark, I had you up there. I'm going to lower your hand there, and I think we're caught up. So with that, I'm going to move on a little bit. And if anybody wants to share something or something comes up, just raise your hand because we got plenty of time here too. And I'm going to go back to my slideshow here and let you know where we are. But wait, there's more. Just to remind you again that we can watch this webinar anytime, and any of the other webinars that we talked about. We're going to post this on the Manuscript Society website. That's manuscriptsingular.org. And it's going to give me about 2 weeks because we record it, I edit it, I just go through it and clean it up a little bit, and then when we have to post it, so that'll take a little bit. And it shows up on our YouTube channel. And again, you don't have to be a member. You can share you can share it with your friends. You can like it. You can comment on it. That's the idea. Is we're trying to reach a larger group of people and a more varied group of people, including people who are younger and actually know how to use Zoom and a computer, which is good. Thanks you to our trustees and staff of the Manuscript Society, and to you for being part of the program. Ellen, thanks for popping in and sharing what's coming up. We're looking forward to California, LA, and certainly to San Antonio. I love that city. Can't wait to go back there as well. And there's more programs on the way. If there's a topic that you'd like to see, or you'd like to hear, or you'd like to present, just let me know. You can reach me through the Manuscript Society. My email is on there. You can reach me through anywhere through the Manuscript Society. You can find me pretty much all over the web. I host these until the trustees decide they don't want me hosting them anymore. So I'm having a great time, and I'm certainly committed to get through 2023 with a variety of topics, which I'll tell you about in just a little bit. But we really want your input to figure out where are we going, what are we doing, what do you want to hear? It doesn't have to be about manuscripts. 2 months ago, Leon Kastner did one on silver marks, and how do you figure out whether it's sterling or plate, or is it Sheffield silver, and what do each of those marks mean? Where was it made? What city, what town, what's the purity of the silver? It was all very helpful because everybody's got a piece of silver sitting around the house that either grandma had or we have too. So let me know about that. If you'd like to underwrite these programs, get a little more exposure, let me know. I'll give you all the details about that. You can reach out to our executive director, Shirley Sands at the Manuscript Society. She'll put you in charge of our advertising team, and you can sponsor that. We'll give you a big banner right up here, and we'll talk about you and get you on the air a little bit and let you chat a little bit about what you do and why you're supporting the Manuscript Society. That's what we're here for. That's what it's all about. And with our next 75 years, we hope to keep going. So here's what's coming up on February. Melanie Smith, who is a professional appraiser and dealer of cartoon art and illustration art, is going to give us an insider's perspective on that Seaside Gallery. And as you may know, David Smith, who was the archivist at the Disney Archives, shared a lot of information with us. He's an old friend of ours, and I'll be working with Melanie on this to share some ideas about cartoon art, what to collect, what it's going for, the good stuff from the bad stuff, original versus prints, serigraphs, and all the things that go with it. I think you'll like that one too. In March, people have been asking about awards. I do a lot of Nobel Prize medals as an appraiser. I've done Grammys, Emmys, Oscars, gold records. So we're going to put together a program called Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. Oh my. I'll do that one in March for you. If you have something specific that you'd like to know, send me the questions in advance. I'll make sure I do the research on it, and we'll have that one too. On April 3rd, Susan Leahy from Toronto is going to do something on Asian art and Asian artifacts. You're going to like that. And in May, Dr. Stuart Embry, who did the tile club, is got another topic that we're working on right now, and we haven't quite narrowed it down, but he was a great speaker. That was an incredible presentation, and we look forward to having him be our May speaker. The rest of the year, we're thinking about Replevin, we're thinking about ink and paper, which is something that we talked about here too. We can do one on watermarks and how to find watermarks, and we'll give some examples of how some of the great forgeries have been discovered because of watermarks. That may be a June or July session. Somewhere over the summer, we'll do a beach party where we just get together like this and hang out. And then we're looking for more topics. So let us know what else you want. Roger, you put your hand up again. So I'm going to have you unmute if you have something to add. I'm going to do that right there. Let's see how that works. There you go.
Yeah, I just as a newbie to the society, I don't know how many others are members of other groups, but I just became a stockholder of the Library Company of Philadelphia, which is originally formed back in 1731 by Ben Franklin, and he had a group of people that would meet at a tavern called the Junto Club, and they would decided to make the first library in America. And they formed the so-called Library Company on that basis. And they would trade books with each other. And they decided that it would be better to be able to centralize this in a library. So they have a huge inventory of books, manuscripts, and artifacts that date back to early Philadelphia, as well as throughout the world.
Sure.
Because many of these people were owners of major things. And we just had a talk by Clarence Wolf, which you may or may not know, but he's a longtime book dealer from Philadelphia that gave an excellent talk. And he might be someone you might want to recruit to give a talk to the Manuscript Society too. I will
do that. I appreciate it. That's great. Good deal. Thanks. I like that. Good deal. All right, let's see where we are here. So look, if you're not a Manuscript Society member, you can join like right now at manuscript.org. This is my email, Brian@Kathenes, my first name, not my last name. If you need more info, happy to help you with that. Now what? I will give you a final toast as we leave. And as my Scottish friends say, lang may your lumrik, which means long may your chimney smoke, which means may you have plenty of wood and never be cold. And with that, I wish you a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We'll see you next month right here at the Manuscript Society. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.